maximise basically your profitability. If you get your pricing wrong, it can be really disastrous to a business. So. Hello, how's it going? This week's topic I'm going to talk about is pricing. Pricing is the first thing that most of us notice about a product. If it's not the brand that's recognisable, price is our indication of what we might be expecting. The first thing that pricing does is it determines profitability. Obviously, if we price something way too high above what the usual customers would be willing to pay for a product, we're going to price ourselves out of the market. We're not going to have enough customers to be sustainable. At the other end of the scale, we go and price ourselves too low. We reduce our profitability and we have to work harder to make the same amount of money. If someone's willing to pay more, we're going to price it at that higher level where we can maximise the amount of sales, so sales volume, which will then affect our profitability. Pricing is one of the original 4 Ps in the marketing mix. So it's been an important aspect of marketing for a very, very long time. And it's the only tool of the marketing mix, or of marketing in general, which brings us money in. Every other marketing tool is an outgoing. It costs us money. Advertising, product placements, sponsorship. All these things we do, it's going to cost us time or money to implement these marketing strategies. And it can take quite a long time to completely rehaul a marketing strategy, develop new products, all those things. But price, we can literally change like that, it's done. Change the price in the system, the computer system, and hey presto, that could match the market faster and easier than those other tactics. Some of the main factors which dictate our price, so you can see here, the first one I've put cost. Obviously we want to price something higher than our costs, whether that's our time. As a mechanic, at a mechanic workshop, generally a service like that might cost you $100 an hour worth of labour in New Zealand. So they're sitting that minimum bar of labour costs. But for a factory where you're producing a product, there's going to be an outlying cost which we need to surpass to start making profit. The next one I've put here is market. And there's a few ways the market can dictate our pricing strategy. Firstly, the location where we are. Are we launching a product in New Zealand? Are we launching a product in South Africa? Are we launching it in a suburb of wealthy people? Are we launching it in a suburb of people in the lower socioeconomic groups? Competition is the next one. How many competitors do we have in the market? Is that forcing the price down? Is there not many competitors? Can we afford to price our product higher and still have enough demand to be profitable? The next one is economics. So oil prices is an obvious one there, depending on the situation around the world. So with COVID-19 at the moment, oil prices dropped massively. Everybody in lockdown, not using transportation, the demand for fuel and therefore oil has been reduced. So we need to know what's happening in the bigger picture, which can impact our pricing. Positioning and targeting. So positioning is where we sit in the market relative to our competitors. Do we want to be at the high end of the market? Are we going to be at the lower end of the market? So where we think our product sits in the current marketplace dictates how we price it. So this is our positioning strategy. What people are we going to target with this product? How much are they willing to pay? Again, that dictates our price. And this also relates to brand over here. Sort of that underlying perceptions and thoughts that come to mind about our brand can also be referred to as brand equity. It's that sort of invisible part of a product, the intangibles, which gives it extra value. You had exactly the same shoe. One of them had Nike on it, or Adidas. the same shoe had no branding on it, we're going to be paying $100 extra for the Nike, because it's the power and it's the certainty of what you get, which brand is so powerful and allows us to set that premium pricing. And this brings me to my first pricing strategy I've got here is premium pricing. So premium pricing is generally when we've got a high quality or a luxury product, our price is up there. People are willing to pay more because they expect a certain level of quality. On the flip side of that is an economy pricing strategy where we price ourselves right at the bottom of the market. No frills with our marketing. You generally don't invest money in marketing or advertising, packaging, none of that. We set our price as low as possible and we try and sell a high volume of product through this strategy because there's nobody cheaper. The next strategy I've put down here is skimming. So skimming is when you come into a marketplace with a really, really strong competitive advantage. You might be the first mover in that category. Think about Apple with the iPhone when smartphones first come into prominence in the 2000s and 2010, 2015. They had such a stranglehold on that market where their pricing was way up here, premium pricing, but they were doing a high volume because they were the first person in the market. There wasn't all these alternative Android phones with similar capabilities. People didn't know about them if there was because Apple's branding and marketing was so strong. They had such a market share. But then they were forced to bring out cheaper alternative phones to match competitors in the marketplace. So that skimming strategy is when you start high, when you get competitors into the market, you come down and match some market value. Penetration pricing is when you're a brand new product or you're launching a new brand, new product to the marketplace. You start your pricing really, really low to try and steal customers away from the competitors. Then that special pricing period ends and you raise your prices with the idea that you're going to maintain some of those people through customer loyalty and they'll be willing to pay a little bit more. Loss leader is a common strategy at a retail level, store level. Think about supermarkets, Coca-Cola, bags of chips, things like that, lollies. They're sold at a very, very, very low price, which probably isn't profitable to the retailer, but they know that you're going to come in and purchase other products which are more profitable. You know, might get some beers, might get some toilet paper and milk, some of those essentials that you need at home on top of your original purchase. So the company knows that, yeah, they may not make money on Coca-Cola, but all the other products they're going to make profit on, so it's profitable to get people into the store. Differential pricing is where we have different pricing for essentially the same product. This could change based on location, or it could just be different offerings, different packages of the same offer. So you think at a sports game, get kids tickets, might be a student ticket, might be a family pass where you buy 2 adults and 2 children and get a cheaper price. There's corporate box options where you're paying more again. All these different options are to satisfy different groups of people and essentially giving them the same product or service, but they're paying different prices. This allows businesses to maximize the profit they make from that offering. Competitive prices is basically when you just match what the market's already doing. You analyze the market. Most offerings are $3.50. You might offer yours at $3.45. Pretty much on the average or just below the average. That's how you base your pricing strategy because you know that people are willing to pay this amount. It's very low risk. Discount pricing, so it might be a clear out, everything 50% off. Might be a weekend sale, 40% off, 20% off. But the idea is you're reducing the price so people see more value in that offering, so they're more likely to purchase it. Often this is used to get rid of old stock that you know you're unlikely to get ticket price for. Psychological pricing is kind of messing with your mind when the whole idea is make people think they're getting a better deal than they actually are. So the real common tactic here is we see, the pricing on something might be $99.99. So you're paying $100 because we don't have 1 cent, so it gets rounded up to $100. But the buyer sees $99. So you're looking on the cheaper side, even though you're paying the same. So it's just trying to make people think they're getting more of a bargain than they actually are. Everyday low pricing is another store or retail-based strategy. Most of these strategies are a brand or a product strategy, but everyday low prices is a store category where you don't have to spend money on advertising and promotion because people know that they're generally going to get a really low price when they come to your store. In New Zealand, Mitre 10 Mega, Bunnings Warehouse, the 2 home hardware stores, they're both everyday low prices. And they kind of compete with each other based on that very, very low price. Have the thing, find a lower price anywhere else, you get 15% off. So they get people through that door based on the large variety of products and the fact that people know that they're going to be pretty cheap. Bundled pricing is when you put 2 or more products together with the idea that it's cheaper than buying them individually. So the buyer thinks they're getting a deal. The chances are they might not have purchased both products anyway, but it's that value proposition in the buyer's mind that they're getting it slightly cheaper. So it might be shampoo and conditioner sold together instead of people having to buy 1 shampoo and 1 conditioner. The last pricing strategy I've put here is captive pricing. So the idea with captive pricing is there's a main product and a secondary product. Shavers is a good example, razors. So you go into the store and you buy 1 razor blade and 1 shaver, costs you about $10. Then you have to buy a pack of 5 or 10 razor blades to go with your razor in order to use that product ongoing. So the idea is you buy a 5 or 10 pack of the razor blades for $30, but the original product, the shaver, might be $5 or $10. So a small purchase, but the accessories are really where the value is to the company and where they make their money. And that's it for another week of 50 Weeks of Marketing. Hope you learned something about pricing. I think it's really important for businesses to understand to maximise basically your profitability. If you get your pricing wrong, it can be really disastrous to a business. So thanks, I'll see you again next week.